Camera is on.
Welcome to Nights at the Round Table, a round table discussion on speculative fiction books and film. Hi everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Nights at the Round Table. Today we are discussing the 2016 anime film Kimi No Na Wa. I'm sitting here with Caroline and with John. And so I'll start with general impressions of the film. And since you haven't been here in a while, John, you go first.
Well, I had heard of this movie beforehand, so all I had heard is it's a body swap movie, and it set like huge records at the box office in Japan. So I was like, oh, they're doing like the Freaky Friday swap, trope. Okay, cool. And then within the first 20 minutes of the film, I was like, oh, okay, maybe they're not quite doing it how I thought. And of course, because of how they opened it with the swap of the guy into the girl body, the opening scene, and I was like, yep, it was.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess I would do that too.
Yeah, I honestly had the, obligatory, boob-grabbing anime thing, and then I was like, well, you know what? It would probably be, yeah.
Yeah, probably be a thing that happened.
I mean, they do it on the other side too. She's like, when they swap the other side, she's like, there's something between there. And I'm like, yeah. And then she's like, I have to pee. Yeah, I was like, okay, they're going to do like that sort of, but it jumped right in a little bit quicker than I anticipated.
Yeah.
But I did find that I wasn't quite sure, because they did imply that there was a body swap, and then the next scene, they're not. The first little scene, I was a little confused on what was happening right away, and I didn't know who was in what body just from what I knew from the synopsis. So that threw me off at the very beginning, at least for myself. I don't know if you guys felt the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I watch a ton of anime, so that didn't throw me at first, because I don't know if it's the way they do things, but they're used to just taking the audience and kind of throwing them into the thing, and then you kind of have to run with it and catch up, which is something that I quite enjoy in my stories. So for me, I really enjoy this movie, and it surprised me in quite a few.
It surprised me throughout. I thought it was going to stick to a very sort of rigid set of tropes.
Twists.
And then I was when they started, they threw some curveballs, and I stopped for a second. I was like, whoa, okay. Yeah. This movie has turned itself on its head, and I was not ready for most of this, but in a completely fantastic way.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was a bit lost at the beginning, where I'm like, what?
Who's in whose body right now?
Yeah. What's going on? I didn't even read the synopsis, and I knew nothing about this film going.
Oh, okay.
So I was quite lost until you figure it out pretty quick. They throw you in really fast, but
which is good. You do catch up. That's what I kind of had to adjust to. Was you had to okay, just hold on a second, and it will click into place. If it doesn't quite immediately, just give it a minute, and then okay, I get it now.
Yeah, and it doesn't take very long for you to find your feet in the movie. Mm-hmm. And at the end of it, it was really touching. It was very sweet.
Did you cry, Sonia? Because as I'm watching, I'm like, Sonia's crying right here. Sonia will cry right here, and maybe here.
I teared up. I didn't really cry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought maybe there'd be some misty going on.
Yeah, there was some misting going on, but no real tears. I cried during Pan's Labyrinth would be a really good example of a movie where I bawled my eyes out. But this just sort of made me mist up. And then by the end I was like, oh.
I know, I did the same sound. And actually my wife was right next to me, because I had to watch it in two separate watches. Then I had to watch only the end. And my wife hadn't seen the beginning, so I forbade her from watching it, because I want to watch it with her. And I was going no! Aww. And she was like, what is happening in this movie?
Good things are happening. Yes. Yeah, this movie was really very sweet.
Yeah, I see why now it made such an impact. Because I said, it wasn't as down a very particular tropey path that I thought. And when I thought it was okay, it's doing a couple different things, it jumped in feet first really quick at the beginning, because I thought, oh, it's going to be this long, slow thing of what's happened to me? I don't know. And that they do that for, almost an hour in the last mile of the movie, then they wrap it up. But no, they they figure things out really quick, and I was like, oh yeah, well, it makes sense. oh yeah, I'll write a message to myself.
Right.
Derp a derp. Who else? Yeah, and oh, he keeps a diary on his phone. Maybe I'll use that to log what happened. Then maybe things piece together. But it did have a little bit of Groundhog Day where they kind of couldn't always remember 100% of everything that happened, which made it a little interesting too.
The whole forgetting each other's name.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
That was great.
Oh, what's his name? What is his name? I must remember. I'm like, oh.
Sort of like when you wake up from a dream, like you remember pieces of it, but not the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite click into that right away. And I was like, oh, okay, I get what they're going for now. Okay, that makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hence the name of the movie.
Yeah.
What's your name? One of the things I really, really enjoyed is that they didn't do that whole like tropey Freaky Friday. I'm gonna try to live the other one's life and pretend that nothing is wrong. And they do that a little bit, but it's so very little.
They do try to roll with it,
but also they rouse at each other for it. Like he's like, "Stop spending my money. You work too many shifts because you're spending all of my money."
Exactly. But they could also have gone like kind of slapstick comedy, the way that these movies usually go.
Which they didn't. Which was so I was so thankful.
Me too.
So thankful.
And it was really original and refreshing because of that.
Yeah, it was really cool, and you could tell like when they switched how, especially right away, you could tell who was who because their mannerisms would peek through immediately.
Yes.
Like when the guy was the girl, it's like, whoa, what are you doing? Cross your legs, like don't sit like that.
Yeah.
Or it's like and he was clearly getting a kick out of like screwing with the dudes that had from the quick little blurb they showed, and like, oh, this guy has a crush, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna screw with you so bad. Whereas she was more like, he was kind of just like winging it, where it seemed like she was trying to really more foster relationships with his friends.
Yeah.
Like with the which I didn't realize at first what they meant, and when I looked a little Wikipedia later is. His crush at the restaurant is actually older than him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I didn't pick up on at all right away. She made it say that she's in university where I think he's still in high school. I was like, oh, okay, I didn't pick up on that. That's why.
I did, but only because they used Miss.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't quite. I just figured he was being polite, and he was just very
there's
hi.
actually the suffix that you use when you address someone who is like an upperclassman or older than you is different than when you address someone who's younger than you.
Yeah.
So like and this is one thing that like it might seem a little off-putting, like what you were saying with the mannerisms. It might seem a little sexist, but the thing is, in Japan, gender roles are extremely strict and they're very, very narrow, and this is why this came off so well in the anime, because you can really build on this sort of restriction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what made it popular, is it didn't fit into those boxes necessarily as well.
Yeah. The 3-year twist threw me.
Whoa! I had to say that is where I'm like, whoa! This just went like, I guess science fiction-y. I guess I was like, holy crap! I was completely thrown by that, because at first I was like, wait, you got a cell phone, she's got a cell phone. Why don't they just call each other? I'll just call my own number. But then the couple times when they thought about it, it's like, oh, can't reach the number. I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. I was like, maybe they just don't want to have that happen, and this is their just lame excuse. But then as the movie went on, and he's like, oh, the festival. I was like, oh, the magic of the comet made it so that their connection was broken. Oh, it broke the connection. All friggin'
right, yeah.
But I didn't, and then, whoa.
I know.
Because at first I was like, oh, the magical comet saw it, and it screwed up their cosmic magic link.
And then when you found out what really happened, I was so shocked. Like, I was very seldom shocked.
Like, I was genuinely sitting at my... Well, I watched it on my phone. Genuinely sitting there going, oh my god.
Yeah.
I know.
And then they pull up the news articles, and they're like, at least 500 dead, and then my mind, of course, just took that and ran. I'm like, oh my god.
When the meteorite bomb dropped, I was like, when the bomb dropped and the meteorite crashed, I was like, oh, whoa, what? I had to like take a second. I was like, whoa, new genre spin in here that was like hidden the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's why they couldn't call each other, and because of the 3-year gap, that number...
Because they're not living in the same time.
Yeah, that number might not exist at that time, or be in service, or whatever, which made sense for oh, this number's not in service. It's like, oh, lame excuse. Oh, I guess it wasn't such a lame excuse after all.
Yeah. And then the whole fight to save everybody.
Oh my god.
That was good.
Wasn't it good?
It was brilliant. And the whole plan they hatched together with that whole town and the explosion, that was like...
Well, the fact that for the initial part it was him, not her, and it showed that like how invested he had become in her life and the people around. I was like, wow, this guy's, because he was not really a jerk, but he was just kind of rough and just kind of like, whatever, blah blah. But it's like, okay, well, this guy does have some heart in him for sure.
Yeah. Oh god, when the little sister opened the door and he's just like, my little sister just goes crawling up her. She's like, you've lost it.
And you're being super creepy and pervy.
Yeah.
Slam.
I was just like, aww.
And then he's like, you're still alive. I still have a chance to save you.
Yeah.
And no, this was emotional roller coaster. Was also like all over genre.
It wasn't over dramatic too, because I was worried that it would get too dramatic.
Yeah.
But it was like, no, this is the perfect tone for it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was kind of controlled and tight. It didn't go into melodrama. It didn't try to provoke anything in the watcher, and I think that's why the emotions that you feel watching it are so strong, because you're external to it, and they don't play to it.
Yeah, and also they don't throw you out of the story by making it too much.
Yeah, by going way too goofy. It's we're gonna make the animation style over super dramatic. It's like, no, they stuck to the style really close, which was a good idea. Which, speaking of that, in these kinds of movies, I'm always like, I like the backgrounds of everything, and they did not disappoint me at all.
No.
All the backgrounds and environments were great. I loved how they did the countryside and everything. It made me think of like Ghibli stuff with like Totoro or Howl's Moving Castle, like the nice, beautiful backgrounds that are like, let me just hold this frame to enjoy that background shot. Okay, continue with the movie, have the characters come in.
Well, see, and also the design of the backgrounds and everything sort of foreshadow what's going to happen because they live around a crater. And you can see that when you rewatch the movie, you're like, okay, yeah. So
there are impact zones, which I didn't pick up at first. I was like, oh, it's convenient they live next to this kind of mountain volcano place, I guess. And I was like, oh, it's not a volcano.
Oh, it's not. No, like 1,000 years ago, this happened already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Such a good story.
Well, like with the foreshadowing, the opening threw me because I found it was very like a serialized anime TV show where they like show lots of bits and pieces, and I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to be seeing stuff like this right now. Don't show me. But in a way, it didn't spoil anything, and then it made things click a little bit better, easier. I found.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, no, don't show me these pieces. No, make it be a surprise. No, what are you doing? Stop.
But then it makes the impact so much better at the end.
Yeah.
The lace because
and everything. Because of the time travel aspect, it tied it in really well. I was like, okay, I forgive the opening now. It's acceptable now. That's good. All right.
Yeah. Now I get it. Well done.
Indeed.
Indeed.
So, as I was brought up on my phone so I could recite properly, I feel like one of the reasons why this movie was so good and everything was kept so solid and consistent is the director, I'm going to butcher his name, 1,000 apologies, Makoto Shinkai. He directed it, he did the screenplay, he did the cinematography, and he did editing for it.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So he was invested in this movie, and it paid off in spades, in my opinion.
It really
did. It was a beautifully constructed film. And the story was touching.
I will admit,
without being ridiculous.
The sake thing I thought was still gross.
Ah!
I was like, oh, no, don't drink, don't,
Yeah.
That is 3-year-old spit wine.
Yeah.
But in the sake's defense, it is now alcohol, so all the germs are dead.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're like, how would that be different from kissing
That being said, I was expecting him to be like, a little bit like, I was expecting that reaction, and I was like, I would accept that because it would be a very human reaction, but he was just kind of like, I guess it tastes good then, alright.
Well, yeah, and I guess also he's probably so preoccupied.
Too zoned in
to because it's a whole spiritual experience, and at the same time,
yeah,
he just found out that this girl is dead, 3 years dead.
Yeah, this girl that he fell in love with last month, let's say, has been dead for 3 years. Like, what?
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah, that would be a bit of a mind trip, and I felt like you got drawn into that, like especially when his shock when he saw the crater when they just showed him and then switched. Because they don't say what happened. Because they're just like, oh, that's so-and-so. Hey, can you take us there? And then there's the awkward look between the people who own the restaurant. They're just like, cut. And he has got the devastated look. And they pan around. And I was like, wait, whoa, and then they do the quick flash of her watching the meteor. I was like, oh, that's what severed the magic connection. Oh, it severed it, just not how I thought it did.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just cosmic moon rays, and it's like, no,
No.
deadly meteor.
deadly moon rocks. Ooh.
I kind of love her reaction though when she's like, "You drank that?
Yeah.
That's so pervert."
I was like, wait, that's pervert?
Yeah.
What about morningly?
Well, she got that as
two,
soon as
one,
she
two,
mentioned
three.
that,
That's
too.
true, yeah.
But it was only once. Liar.
My sister told me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised that he didn't just own up that he was like, yeah, I did that, as opposed to, it was only once.
No, it wasn't. It was every single time.
Yeah.
Even when I started to acknowledge that I shouldn't, for your sake, I still did.
I'm sure she did the same thing. They just didn't make her seem more pervy because she's like the girl in the story, I guess. They do like to pick on boys for being pervy, which is... it tends to happen.
Well, they're kind of expected to be, I guess.
Yeah.
Nobody expects a girl to be pervy.
Maybe they just expect them to be more, what's the word I'm
Well,
looking for? Respectful, maybe?
Well, again, it goes back to this is Japan, and they have very, very well defined, and
gender norms.
women don't do that.
No.
I'm sure she never did
Yeah.
anything weird like that at all.
Nope.
Hopefully no zipper accidents.
Oh!
No, God, yeah.
Hey.
From experience.
Ooh. Just the thought is terrifying.
Oh, good God.
I mean, for everybody, down there is a tender location. Ooh.
I loved the art style in this.
It was beautiful.
It was beautifully drawn.
I love the environments so much.
Yeah,
That
the background
that
paintings
among
were
all, I
gorgeous.
love the environments. Was one of my favorite parts in the movie. I loved them, how they were carefully crafted. I saw a couple pictures of their taken straight from streets and alleyways when they were in Tokyo,
Yeah.
which was really cool. I believe the closing scene, I think, is lifted straight from a real
Oh,
street.
yeah?
Yeah.
Pretty sure, yeah. Okay, that's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good.
It was beautifully done. Yeah.
Well done, sir. Well done.
I think that's deserving of more than a slow clap. A slow clap is what you do when somebody trips over their own toe. Like...
Yeah, no. And also, sir, is Makoto, that's a woman's name. Are we sure that it's a sir?
His Wikipedia picture shows him to be.
Okay.
At least masculine presenting.
Yeah,
From what I could tell.
Okay. Was there anything that bothered you about this film?
For me, no. I can see how it would be disorienting.
Yeah, just a couple parts. Like at the
Yeah.
beginning, because I thought it was one continuous scene. Like, oh, he's in the body, and this is the first time he's in the body right away. But then they're like, oh, she's normal. And I found, with that scene in particular, I found it wasn't very clear. That was my only real jarring moment. I was like, okay, it is, because he's like, oh, yesterday you were really weird. I was like, oh, okay, so he's switched back now? I found that establishing bit wasn't very clear until, they talked a little bit more, and then she got to school, and then, oh, you were weird yesterday, as opposed to, I don't know, a more hard cut that kind of implied that, I guess. That was the only part that really threw me. Other than that, I understood where they were when they did all their cuts and jumps, but just that beginning was where it threw me off the most. Other than that, that's my only real gripe, and it's not a very horrible one.
No.
I mean, it was pretty minor.
Yeah, same. I'm trying to think of something. If something really did, there was nothing in the characters.
None of the
that really bothered
sidekick
me.
supporting characters I found super annoying or
No.
anything. They were all pretty cool. They weren't
Yeah.
oh, hey, dude, you were super weird and a total, weirdo yesterday. It was just hey, you were acting weird. Are you okay? Everyone was kind of
Yeah.
dude, are you okay? You were
Yeah.
kind of a little weird and out of it yesterday. No one was you should go to a hospital and be committed because you a psycho or something.
Yeah, no, you felt the friendships that they both had with their mutual friend.
they all
was
had good
really
friends.
There. Yeah, because he's suddenly going I gotta go to this city that nobody's ever heard of, and his friends are like, okay, I guess we'll go with you.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
haven't
sort of-
been acting yourself, and you
Yeah.
kind of want to just tag along, just, you know.
Well, like, yeah, because they
Sure,
thought,
yeah.
well, did you meet a lady friend online? We're gonna go
Yeah.
make sure you don't get mugged and murdered like
Yeah.
a good friend.
Yeah, exactly. And then her, where she's like, you know, planning to blow up parts of the city and then fake a siren to get everybody out of the city. They're like, they're going along with it. And you can feel the resistance of like, we're doing something
Oh,
that's
speaking
really,
of that,
really
her friend
bad.
that's like, hey, my dad owns a construction company.
Yeah.
At the beginning, you noticed how when they talked about, yeah, you were weird yesterday? I didn't pick up till later. He made a joke about multiverse and sort of like different universes and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, well done on the little foreshadowing that's hidden
Yeah.
with a guy that's just kind of weird and your friend.
Yeah.
Which I think is why he started to go along with her plan right away, is because he is a little bit more out there and kind of the weird dude a little bit. So he's like, I'm with you. High five. Yeah.
And this is something that really brings me back to the writing was so phenomenal because everything was prepared. You were prepared for every one of these huge blows where you're like, what? Where did this came from? But it didn't come out of nowhere because you have little hints all
way,
throughout.
yeah.
A very well done time travel movie.
Yes. Very, very well done.
Connected by a braided cord.
Yes.
The metaphors come around, the fact that her family and the temple and the thing, and they
Oh,
come
yeah.
back. I was like, oh god, this guy really does get into the details.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Agreed. Yeah, there was nothing that really bugged me. Like, even the little sister who's typically, like, a really annoying, irritating character.
I was worried that she was going to be like the thorn in the side, annoying, but she wasn't. She was actually pretty level.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was pretty chill. I liked her.
Yeah, they were all well-rounded characters,
Yeah.
even the very minor, even the grandma.
Yes.
Like,
Oh.
you know, just minor tiny characters, they all had this very complete personality.
Yeah, one of the favorite things in the movie is when they walk back from the ceremony, and the little sister is like, "Why do you care if some of your classmates saw you?"
I thought they were going to play a bigger role in the movie in some sort of bad way, but I'm glad they
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah,
Because they weren't. It was a way to give insight into her personality.
yeah, and it's so Matsuka just answers, "I love your prepubescent
Like innocence.
innocence." Yeah, I love.
Oh, your naivete.
Yeah.
So young.
Yeah.
So ununderstanding. It's like maybe.
Just wait till you hit high school.
But it's maybe
Yeah.
she understands more than you do the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. She was pretty wise for a little kid.
Yeah. But you know what? People who write little kids well, they get that because little kids are wise because
Yeah.
they don't have all of our preconceptions about the universe. They're just like observing stuff and saying it the way they see it without any bias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We sometimes realize, oh, that little fact thing that you thought when you were a kid comes around. It's like, oh yeah, there's actually a little bit of truth to that and that simpleness when you think about
Yeah.
it.
From the mouths of babes, as they say.
Mm.
Yep. Okay. I think we've gushed about the film long enough. Start
Wow,
rating.
I wonder what our ratings could possibly
I
five.
I know, right?
5 stars.
Five. Absolutely.
5.
That was so good.
I thought it was going to be, okay, I heard this movie was good. It'll be solid like 3.5, 4 or something. And then it's like,
no.
whoosh, wow, extra layer of genre that was hidden the whole time. And it was compelling. All the characters were good. No one was written and no one grated on my nerves. The backgrounds, the art was great. The music was really good.
The story was exceptional.
Oh, it absolutely was. And after all of these huge emotional impacts, to get to the very, very end of the very, very last scene, still going like,
I was like, oh, maybe it's not gonna
I
end
know!
quite the way I thought.
Yeah,
but
it's
maybe,
just shit's
but maybe that's
possible.
the way it's supposed to be because
Yeah.
of the whole time travel mechanic. How then they
Yeah.
almost completely forgot each other. I was like, well, yeah, maybe that's sad, but maybe that was the whole point that they
Yeah.
don't end up. It's that they helped each other and they saved a bunch of lives, and that's what was important. But then it's like, aw, shucks, they got their happy moment too, guys.
Yeah, it was really cute. Alright, 4.5 for me. It doesn't get a perfect 5 because I wasn't an emotional mess at the end. It was just...
I wasn't an emotional mess either, but I was like, whoa,
It
feels,
was-
man.
Yeah.
yeah, for me it
Feels.
was just the writing.
It was
blew
cute.
me
The
away.
writing was really
Yeah.
good. The story was really good. So, yeah. I really liked it. You should really go see this film.
Yes, you should.
Pro tip though, in the original Japanese, but with English subtitles if you can't understand Japanese, because it just isn't the same without the Japanese.
Oh, did
English
you watch it
dubs
in
are
English?
terrible. No.
We watched. I watched subs.
Yeah,
English subs.
me too.
In the original. Yeah, just because I can't stand dubbed stuff. It just sounds so terrible.
Some of
To
it
me.
is good.
Really?
Some
I have yet
animated.
to come
I
across
find it can
dubbing
keep a little
that's
bit
good.
more of the true meaning because when you dub, they have to try and lip sync some of it too, so they change some
Yeah,
dialogues.
but this is why anime is so cool because a lot of like the mouth formations they're not like so precise.
Super specific, yeah.
So like you have a little bit more leeway, and when you hire a really good dubbing company, it can be really good dub.
I've yet to
Yeah.
see a really good dub, so
Yeah.
that would have been my advice. John, you get to pick the next movie.
Flash Gordon,
1980.
1980. Sweet, sweet 80s.
So if you have any thoughts about Kimi no Na Wa, do leave them in the comments below. We also have a Goodreads group where you can continue the discussion there if you prefer. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks very much, guys. Bye!